Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our E3 coverage for Polygon.com. I am Griffin McElroy. Joining me is my colleague, Justin McElroy. This is very exciting. Today, we are talking to Mark Piccini and Keiji Inafune about Recore, which is a new game that was announced during the Xbox press conference at E3 yesterday. We still don't know a whole lot about Recore outside of what we saw in the cinematic reveal trailer. So thank you for joining us first and foremost. Can you all tell us just a little bit more about the game that maybe we didn't get from that reveal trailer?
そうですね。今回主人公の女の子がジュールっていう名前で、そこに出てた可愛い犬のロボット、これですね。これがマックっていう名前ですね。で、彼女とこの犬の友情みたいなのを、見てて分かるように描いていくんですけど、もっともっと深い話がこの中にあるんで、それは期待してほしいんですけど、すごく人類の未来であったりとか、いろんな深い話がこの中に入っています。
So first and foremost, I'd like to introduce our main characters of Recore. Female character here, Jewel, and her dog, robot companion, Mac. And obviously, as you saw a little bit in the trailer, there is a bond. There's a relationship between these two that goes in deep. That we won't be revealing a whole lot this week at E3. But aside from introducing these two lead characters, also the story in terms of where it starts, or high-level concept sort of idea, is the future of humans and human sort of extinction. What does the world look like at that point? There's a very deep, engaging story that we're writing up for the title.
How was the decision made to make Recore launch as an Xbox exclusive title?
Xbox exclusive title.
そうですね。もともと僕が作りたいと思ってたコンセプトがあって、で、アマチュアといろいろやりたいっていうことでいろいろ話し合ってたんですけど、それを、実現するためにマイクロソフトと話したときにすごくいいアイデアだっていうことで、マイクロソフト自体がこの話に乗ってくれたっていうか、ですごくマイクロソフトのそのチームも入って最初から一緒にやっていくっていうこういうチーム体制ができて、本当に面白いゲーム作りが今もできてるんで、すごいいいパートナーシップでやらせてもらいます。
So, the idea was always brewing in my head, and I had Armature as our collaborative partner from the get-go in my head. We were talking, we were brainstorming, and it was time to sort of start pitching to potential publishers. And we brought the story, we brought our ideas to Microsoft, and from the very, very beginning, I think they were really excited to not just hear the idea, but want to work with us, want to help us, and want to really form this partnership. And I believe that we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for all the support and all the sort of creative leads and the personnel that have been dedicated to this project, that have really pushed us to come to this, to this moment, to this stage.
Can you talk a little bit more about how the relationship between Armature Studio and Keiji, how that sort of how you guys found each other, I guess?
Yeah, it actually we've collaborated before in the past when Inafune-san was still at Capcom, and we had a great partnership. And we at Armature have a lot of people that have worked with developers in the East before, so it was a very natural thing for us, and we got along great. Our teams really collaborated well, and Inafune-san really spearheads the spirit of East and West working together. He's very receptive to that partnership, which is fantastic. So that naturally clicked when we were working previously on some other projects. And then when it came time for a new project, and we were in the situation where it's like, wow, this would be a great time to work together again. How can we do that? That's when it happened, and Inafune-san and Armature started working together on basically what would become Recore, and brought it to Microsoft as a, hey, would you like to go on this adventure with us? Would you like to undertake this project? And since we were kind of coming together as this kind of prepackaged situation where we've already worked together, we had a very solid concept, but it was a very broad world, and that's what Microsoft saw the potential in, that we could really build this into a possible franchise, and that there was a lot more under the hood than just a one-shot game. So they really invested in this relationship and the potential of the project, and it's really been a great experience.
What was the origin of this concept? Where did this idea for Recore come from, and how long has it been in development?
本当の原点から始まったんですよ。で、実際にこのじゃあ今回の開発期間っていうのは実際の作業はどれぐらいの
そうですね。僕自身がその人類の未来みたいなところっていうのにすごく興味を持っててですね、すごく未来を描くっていうゲームが多いと思うんですよね。だからそこもありますし、あと日本人らしいゲーム作りっていうところでやっぱロボットであったりとか、あと割とそのアニメの世界観ですね。言ったら宮崎駿であったりとか、そういうアニメの世界観を、しっかりとこのゲームに入れたいっていうのがこの最初の原点にあって、それで発想したのがこのリコアの元となる部分ですね。でそれをマークたちと話し合ってどんどんそれを広げていったっていうのが今回のリコアです。
So there are a few really highlights, I guess, sort of pillars that we can call that really brought the whole idea together. First of all, you know, in general, games have story settings and world settings that take place in the future. For me specifically, I wanted to see what the future was like when there are almost, you know, no humans left. Maybe you're the only one. Maybe there's just a band of survivors, and what that world looks like. What kind of imagination do I have when I think about that time? Secondly, it was about my love for robots. And I think we all can agree that us Japanese folks, we love robots. So the subject is...
Are you sure about that?
You should try making a game just about a robot. I think that would be really exciting.
Yeah, how novel.
We should really do something without having robots as part of the game. And then thirdly, you know, anime is a very broad term, but to really try to capture the essence and sort of encapsulate all the beauties that make an anime a great anime, such as a Hayao Miyazaki film, an anime. Those three were really what tied it all together. And then, as Mark said earlier, we sort of brought that idea, and then it just kind of really expanded and expanded layer upon layer. It became this universe and world that we've created. So that's where it all began.
Mark, you mentioned Eastern and Western teams working together, collaborating. Obviously, they come to the table with very different aesthetics, very different design sensibilities. What do you think the end result in the final product of having you know two such different teams working together? How do you think that's reflected in the final product?
Well, it's you know the basic thing is you can't really assume what somebody's going to think or come at a problem from a certain perspective, and there are definitely cultural differences which kind of when you have and a lot of times in Western development, you approach problems in certain ways. You know, everybody has their own approach, but we have our culture and we have our pop culture references and things like that that we kind of lean on sometimes when we're making games or when we're making decisions. And partnering with a developer that has a completely different perspective on things and sees things that you don't and that you may or may not disagree with at first or agree with, it goes both ways. So you have an individual feature, story, character problem that you have these two developers that are looking at it from completely two different perspectives in a good way. Because the last thing you want to do is surround yourself with people that think exactly like you do. Because you're never going to come up with something new and interesting. And that's exactly what happens here, is that Inafune-san might come to the table with this interesting idea, and then we'll layer something on top of it or something that they didn't think of. And then when we present it back to them, the same thing happens. And there might be a focus or you know, concept might grab onto something that seems very simple and innocuous to us, but then we didn't see exactly what they were talking about. And all of a sudden it becomes this really interesting feature that we wouldn't have thought to pursue. So that's where the real strength of a relationship like this comes from.
Before we let you all go, when are we going to be able to see more of Recore? When are we going to be able to see it actually running for gameplay?
そうですね。近い形では次ゲームズコムである程度のものを見せたいとは、まあ、 僕らは思ってるんですけど、まあ、戦略があるんでどう見せれるかはちょっと分かんないですけど、全部続報はきっちり出せると思うんで、そこに期待してほしいなと思います。
So as a team, we're really, really hoping that we can talk, show, and really, really showcase a lot more, hopefully at Gamescom. I don't know what the people behind us may say because there's strategy involved in all this, but I'm really looking forward to talking about it more and sharing a lot more about what we have already in development.
Great. Well, thank you for stopping by to tell us a little bit about Recore, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We'll have more E3 coverage throughout the week.